Attention passionate Detroit, Lions fans. Latest news, something big is happening in the NFC North and it could change the game. We're talking about a direct impact on Detroit Lions' path to another Super Bowl run, a power shift that could leave a division rival stumbling for years. We're bringing this to you firsthand. But before that, if you're a true Detroit Lions fan, subscribe to the channel to strengthen this passion even more. Show that you're also part of this family. Let's help each other reach 1,000 subscribers. Share with your FRINDS and Detroit Lions fans. Let's get to the news. Alright, Lions fans, settle in because what I'm about to share with you could be one of the most significant developments in the NFC North this offseason. If you're a die-hard supporter of Detroit, if you've been following the team's journey through the ups and downs of recent years, then you know that the 2025 season is shaping up to be something special. And no, I'm not just throwing around empty hype. There's real substance behind these moves, and it's about positioning the Lions as serious contenders once again. Now first, let's set the scene. The Detroit Lions, for those of you who have been fans for a while, know that this franchise has been through a lot. From the dark days of the 2000s to the recent resurgence, the Lions have built a roster that's competitive, hungry, and increasingly talented. But as we look ahead to 2025, there's a clear understanding that this team, as talented as it is, still has some gaps that could make or break their Super Bowl aspirations. And one of the most glaring needs, edge rushers. That's right, pass rush is the name of the game in today's NFL, and having a fierce, disruptive pass rusher can change the outcome of games, especially in the playoffs. Aiden Hutchinson, the Lions' star defensive end, has been nothing short of phenomenal. Coming out of Michigan, he's demonstrated that he belongs among the elite rushers in the league. Last season, he posted impressive numbers, showing a relentless motor, a knack for getting to the quarterback, and an instinct that's rare for a player so early in his career. Hutchinson is undoubtedly the cornerstone of Detroit's pass rush, but if we're being honest, he can't carry the entire front line by himself. Every great defense needs a complementary pass rusher, someone who can draw attention, open up opportunities for Hutchinson, and keep opposing quarterbacks on edge. The Lions, despite their recent success, haven't been able to land that kind of elite defender in the draft or free agency. They've tried, but it's been a mixed bag. The draft came and went, and while there were some promising prospects, no one emerged as a clear-cut superstar at edge rusher. That's why this offseason, the focus has shifted to possible trades and strategic moves to fill that void. And folks, that's where the latest news gets really interesting. Now I want to pause here and highlight something critical. Pause here just for a second. If you want the YouTube algorithm to keep recommending the latest Detroit Lions news to you, it's super important that you leave a like on this video. Go ahead, it's quick and it makes a big difference. Thank you. Now let us continue with the big reveal. Okay, back to the big news. Rumors are swirling around a blockbuster trade that could reshape the Lions' defensive line and quite possibly their entire season. Sources are pointing toward a potential trade for a player who's been causing quite a stir across the NFL, Shedeur Sanders. Yes, you heard that right. The talented quarterback from Colorado, son of legendary Deion Sanders, has been making waves in college football and is now being considered as a future NFL star. But this isn't about him just yet. The real game changer here is that the Lions are exploring a move to acquire a top-tier defensive end who could significantly boost their pass rush. One who's currently in a bit of a standoff with his current team, the Cincinnati Bengals. Let me give you the backstory. The Bengals' star defensive end, Trey Hendrickson, has been a force on the field, leading the NFL in sacks last season with a whopping 17.5. He's a player who can take over games, and every team in the league would love to have him. But Hendrickson isn't happy right now. He's been signaling his displeasure publicly, skipping mandatory minicamps because he's unhappy with his current contract situation. Now, that's a big red flag for Cincinnati, especially with the season looming and the player making it clear he's willing to sit out games if necessary. Hendrickson's frustration is understandable. He's been a key part of that Bengals defense, and he's seeking a new deal that reflects his value. According to reports, Cincinnati did reach out to his representatives, but negotiations haven't advanced much. Hendrickson's holding firm. He's even said he's willing to sit out games if his demands aren't met. And that's a bold move. The Bengals are facing a tricky situation because Hendrickson's decision to skip minicamp and possibly sit out regular season games could put a lot of pressure on them to make a deal. This is where the Lions come into the picture. As of now, Detroit's front office is weighing the possibility of making a trade, offering a second-round pick in the 2026 draft. That might seem like a lot for some, but when you consider Hendrickson's production, his ability to change games, and the fact that he's still relatively young, it could be a bargain for a team aiming for a deep playoff run. And remember, the Lions have been building a roster with a focus on toughness, versatility, and elite talent. Adding Hendrickson would be a statement move, signaling that they're serious about contending this season. Now, let's talk about what this means for Detroit. The Lions' defense has been on the rise. We've seen flashes of brilliance from players like Hutchinson, plus the promising development of their secondary and linebackers. But to truly take that next step, especially in the postseason, they need more firepower on the pass rush. Hendrickson, paired with Hutchinson, would form one of the league's most formidable duos. Imagine the chaos they could create for opposing quarterbacks, sacks, pressures, forced turnovers. It would elevate the entire defense and in turn, give the Lions' offense more opportunities to control the game. And speaking of the offense, don't forget how dangerous Jared Goff and the Lions' offensive weapons are. Goff has been playing at an elite level, showing excellent decision-making, accuracy, and leadership. His chemistry with wide receivers like Amon-Ra St. Brown and Jahmyr Gibbs has been outstanding. The offensive line has been solid, and with a balanced attack, Detroit has all the ingredients to be a high-scoring, tough-to-beat team. But if they can bolster their pass rush with a player like Hendrickson, who can get to the quarterback quickly and consistently, it could be the missing piece that turns their aspirations into reality. Now, it's not just about the talent. It's also about the mindset. The Lions, under head coach Dan Campbell, have cultivated a culture of resilience, grit, and relentless effort. Campbell's leadership has been instrumental in transforming a franchise that once struggled into a playoff contender. This upcoming season is critical. Some say it's do or die. The window for this team to make a serious Super Bowl run might be closing if they don't capitalize now. That's why this potential move for Hendrickson isn't just a splashy trade. It's a strategic play, a statement that Detroit is all in on winning now. Of course, there's always some skepticism. Teams sometimes overpay for players, or a trade might not go through as planned. Cincinnati's asking price could be higher than what the Lions are willing to give, especially if the Bengals are holding out for more than just a second-round pick. But with Hendrickson's current stance, skipping minicamp, threatening to sit out games, the Bengals might be more willing to accept a deal that's beneficial for both sides. They could see a second-round pick as a fair return for a player who's been their defensive anchor. And this situation is still unfolding. The NFL offseason always brings surprises, and this story is no different. What's fascinating here is how it exemplifies the strategic chess match that teams play during this time of year. The Lions, with their recent resurgence, are clearly looking to push even further. They're not satisfied with just making the playoffs. They want to dominate the NFC North, challenge the best teams in the NFC, and finally get that elusive Super Bowl title that has eluded them for so long. Speaking of the NFC North, it's worth noting how this division is shaping up. The Minnesota Vikings have been in a bit of flux, trying to figure out their identity after some roster shakeups. The Green Bay Packers are rebuilding around Jordan Love, trying to find their footing after Aaron Rodgers' departure. The Chicago Bears are in a rebuild mode, trying to piece together a competitive team. The Lions, meanwhile, are positioning themselves as the team to beat, and acquiring a player of Hendrickson's caliber could be that final piece they need to separate themselves from the pack. Now, let's not forget about the broader NFL landscape. The league is more competitive than ever, with every team trying to find those marginal advantages that lead to victory. The Lions have been on the rise for several seasons now, but to truly take the next step, they need to continue upgrading their roster. The addition of Hendrickson would send a message to everyone in the league: Detroit is serious, and they're not just content with being playoff contenders. They want to be champions. This move also fits into the larger narrative of the NFL offseason: trades, contracts, player frustrations, and strategic gambles. It's a chess game played with billions of dollars, and sometimes, a player's discontent can turn into a golden opportunity for a team willing to take the risk. The Lions seem to be that team right now, looking to capitalize on Hendrickson's situation before it's too late. And knowing Dan Campbell's aggressive, leave it all on the field mentality, I wouldn't be surprised if Detroit pulls the trigger on this deal. Now, looking ahead, what does this mean for the Lions' season? If they manage to bring Hendrickson into the fold, it could very well be the catalyst that propels them into deep playoff contention. Their defense already has the makings of a top unit, but a true elite pass rusher can be a game-changer, especially in the postseason where every play counts. With that added firepower, Detroit could disrupt some of the league's best quarterbacks, create more turnovers, and set the tone for a gritty, relentless team that refuses to back down. And let's not forget the importance of this year's narrative. It's a make-or-break season for Detroit. After years of building, drafting well, and fighting to establish a winning culture, the time has come to show everyone that they're true contenders. The NFC North is there for the taking, and with the right moves, the Lions could be the team that finally breaks through and makes a serious Super Bowl push. Hendrickson could be that missing piece, the kind of player who elevates the entire team, who makes the opponent think twice before throwing that critical pass, who embodies the grit and determination that Detroit has been cultivating. What about the fans? Well, if you're like me, you're already dreaming of that fierce pass rush, those clutch sacks, and the roar of Ford Field when Hendrickson and Hutchinson combine to sack the quarterback in a crucial moment. It's the kind of thing that gets the adrenaline pumping, that reminds us why we love this sport so much. And the potential trade isn't just about adding another player. It's about embracing that winning mentality, that relentless pursuit of greatness that defines the Detroit Lions. In closing, folks, this offseason is shaping up to be one of the most exciting in recent memory for Lions fans. The possibility of adding a player like Trey Hendrickson, who's proven he can dominate in the NFL, could be the spark that ignites Detroit's Super Bowl dreams. It's a bold move, a calculated gamble, but in the NFL, sometimes you have to risk it all to get to the top. And if the Lions pull this off, they'll be sending a loud and clear message across the league. We're here to compete, and we're not backing down from the challenge. So Lions fans, keep your eyes peeled. We'll be watching closely as this story develops. Will the trade happen? Will Hendrickson become a Lion? Only time will tell. But one thing is for sure, this offseason has the potential to be one of the most pivotal in Detroit's history. And I, for one, can't wait to see how it unfolds. And now, Detroit Lions fans, I want to hear from you. What's your take on this? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Your opinion matters so much to us and to the Detroit Lions. And don't forget, I'll be back soon with more updates, so stay tuned for the latest Detroit Lions news.